Welcome to the Genealogy Gems Podcast, providing quick and innovative ways to make the absolute most out of your research time and creative ideas for sharing and displaying your family history. I'm your host, Louise Cooke. Welcome to Genealogy Gems Podcast episode number 116. This one is a bit special. It was recorded live at the Southern California Genealogical Society Jamboree in Burbank, California in June 2011. Thank you so much for coming to the live podcast, the Genealogy Gems Podcast. Raise your hand if you've actually heard the podcast online. Oh, a lot of you have. Awesome. Great. And raise your hand if you've never heard a podcast before. A couple. Okay. Well, then let's do the quick rundown, shall we? Now, I remember the first time I went to a conference. We sat at my booth and we explained exactly what a podcast was to every single of the hundreds of people that came by the booth, because it was all really new. Back in 2005 to 2006, they just were invented. And by 2007, I had discovered them and said, oh, I got to do that. That's what I've been waiting for. So essentially what it is, it's like a genealogy radio show. Wouldn't you say, those of you who listen, it's a radio format, kind of a variety show, if you will, for family history. But it is pre-recorded, and so that means that it's like the best of both worlds, because it's like books on tape. So it's so funny. People used to come by the booth and say, so what channel are you on and what time do I need to tune in? And I said, no, the awesome part is that you just turn on your computer and you listen whenever you want. Do any of you listen through the toolbar, our Genealogy Gems toolbar? A couple people do. That's free on our homepage. It's down at the bottom of genealogygems.com. And I like it because it's... you can take it with you no matter where you're going on the web, whatever you're doing at your desk. It's just like a little radio player. You turn it on and it's got all three of our shows. I do Genealogy Gems Podcast and Family History, and then I also host the Family Tree Magazine podcast, and it's all there on the feed. So, but again, if the phone rings, you can press pause, you can start it back up. You can. I had one lady tell me that she is a swimmer, and she was swimming to get her exercise in every day, so she bought a waterproof MP3 player, and she says, I listen to Genealogy Gems while I'm, going down the lanes. And I was like, well, it's a good thing one of us is getting exercise, right? But so it's a lot of fun to do, and I am really glad you're here. And what's exciting for me today is that I've been teaching classes all weekend, but I've really been looking forward to this because, as you can imagine, when I'm at home doing the podcast, I'm in my home studio, and I'm just hoping you guys are out there. I'm assuming you are. I can see that you're downloading the show. But it's really nice to see faces and get to interact with you today. So just be prepared that you might be doing some interacting. And in fact, we have one of our Facebook fans who's definitely going to be part of the show today. And I have a couple of great guests for you that I'm very excited about. I mentioned to you that I host the Family Tree Magazine podcast, and the editor and publisher of Family Tree Magazine is here today. If you have read the magazine, you know it's just chock full of how-to tips, and it's fabulous, and they focus on so many different areas. And Allison has been putting it together for a long time, and so we're going to do the Oprah treatment to Allison today. Get behind the scenes and find out what really makes her tick. And then I have a friend of the show who's been on, for those of you who've heard the show, you've heard her before. Paula Sassi is here. And Paula does handwriting analysis. She is a graphologist. And what's really cool is that I got thinking about what other disciplines out there are looking at old documents, and who else is looking for people that we're looking for, but they're not genealogists. And I got to thinking, wow, somebody who could analyze handwriting could look at some of these old diaries and letters that I have. Maybe I would get a little more insight into some of these ancestors. And I have to say, she nailed mine to the T, because I had her do a grandfather that I knew quite well and just didn't say anything about him. And it was like she'd met him and had coffee with him. It was crazy. So it was very interesting to have her take a look at these documents. So she's going to be here today doing that. And of course, we have our friend Bruce Busby, who's going to be here from Roots Magic, who sponsors our podcast. He's the one who believed me when I said, I'm going to do this podcast, so I'm going to do it, every month, and I think there'll be people listening. And he said, okay, I'll help you make it happen. And he's been a great sponsor. So without further ado, oh, that's me. That's my home office. That's me in my little desk with the microphone. I love talking to you guys. And first up, I want to introduce my first guest. I just want to jump right into it. Allison Stacy has been on the staff of the Cincinnati-based Family Tree magazine for more than 10 years. And when you see how young she is, you're going to wonder if she started in high school. But, no. She has been there for 10 years, and she is really one of America's most popular genealogy magazines. She's now the publisher and the editor, the editorial director. And it is for Family Tree magazine is part of a parent company called F&W Media, and it's interesting. They have all kinds of hobbyist magazines. It's really fascinating. She's co-authored the Family Tree Legacies book, which is a keepsake family history book. That was along with Diane Haddad, who's the managing editor there at Family Tree, and she's contributed to several other genealogy books. And outside of Family Tree University, Allison teaches genealogy workshops for youths and societies. So please help me welcome Allison Stacy. Come on up. Good to see you. Come have a seat in our Oprah setup here. I hope you guys can all see. This is kind of nice, actually, to be able to sit and have a chat. And I tried to put together some screenshots to just give you a sense of how busy this woman is. Mm-hmm. Tell us, again, I kind of talked about that you're the publisher and the editor over at Family Tree Magazine, but what does that entail, and who are these people on the screen with you?
Oh, sure. Well, Family Tree Magazine is probably the publication that most of you are familiar with. We publish 7 times a year, and it's chock full of how-to articles and advice to help you in your research. We've expanded a bit in the past few years. We now are publishing some books. We do about 3 to 4 books a year. Family Tree Legacies that I co-authored is one. We also have put out a few this year. One I'm excited about is Life in Civil War America, which we released for the sesquicentennial of the Civil War. And we also have expanded into online education, which is really exciting because in the pages of a magazine, you can convey a lot of information and you can pass on a lot of good tips, but there's limitations. You can't show someone how to do something on a printed page. Online, however, with video and other online technologies, you can do that really well. So we now have Family Tree University, which is our online education program, and through that we do live webinars every month, and we do online classes through something called Blackboard, where you actually enroll with your tuition, and you can log in for a month, and you can come to class anytime that you want. Lisa teaches.
I can be a teacher.
Yeah, Lisa teaches several classes for us, and we have a number of other instructors, but it's very flexible, so you can really do it on your own schedule, get feedback from the instructors, and interact with the other students. So it's really interesting, and I think something that we want to expand a lot more because there's so much opportunity there.
I think they just like the classes because they're in their jammies and their slippers, and working from home, and then they're talking to me and we're talking online, but they can, if they're up at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can do their lesson and I'm grading at 10 o'clock in the morning and we're back and forth. It's amazing what the internet has done, isn't it?
Yeah, it is amazing. There's so many more opportunities. When I started doing this almost 11 years ago, it was you just made a magazine, and that was all we did all day. We sat, we edited.
But that's a big job in itself.
It was,
yeah.
But the other great thing about technology is that it has allowed us to streamline the work that we do on our magazine, so that tasks that used to take a lot longer, we can do quicker. People, when we first started publishing the magazine, instead of emailing articles to us, sometimes authors would send us submissions through the mail on a floppy disk.
Wow.
So you can imagine there's some time-saving things that have happened thanks to technology. But our days are a little bit busier now.
Well, I was going to say, because that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you here today. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be part of many of the new ventures that you've gotten into, but what is it like? I mean, you go to journalism school, I assume, and you come in and you're doing a paper magazine, and all of a sudden it's like you have to be an online internet entrepreneur. I mean, but it's good for us because we're just getting so much different diversity. I love the fact that we all learn differently. So if you need a video, you can get a video. If you want to listen to it, great. If you want to read it. But how has that been for you? Have you enjoyed that? I mean, you've hung in there.
Yeah, actually I have enjoyed it. You know, when I was in journalism school, we were very much still in the sort of, I guess you could say, pounding the pavement kind of journalism, where the internet was enough that we still didn't really trust it as a source. And so, like when I took information gathering, we had to go do annotated bibliographies, and you would find associations by looking in a directory of organizations. You would find sources that way instead of just Googling to see who's blogging or, you know, who has credentials on the subject. So things have sped up a lot, and there was a lot more kind of genealogy and journalism were kind of a lot alike in a way, and I think that's part of what appealed to me so much about getting into genealogy is that at the end of the day it's all about research.
Yeah.
And so those research methods have obviously changed over time, and it's become a lot easier to find information faster than we ever could a decade ago. I
imagine because you're able to do so much of that research that was on foot before, you can do that so much quicker. Has that freed up the schedule a little bit then to launch programs like having an online university? Or you know, you were very forward thinking in that. I think I've been doing my podcast about a year, and we ran into each other at another expo, and I looked at her and I said, I'd like to talk to you. And she says, I'd like to talk to you. And she was one of the first magazines really to say, I think we want to have a podcast presence. So I imagine that in one way you're saving time, but you've just been filling it up. Yeah, and you know what's great about it is that really a magazine isn't just something that you receive in the mail or pick up at the newsstand. It's a piece of paper. It's really a community. You know, everyone who reads it can feel like they're a part of something. And so by having a podcast and by having online courses and having, you know, a website and a forum and all of those things, it's really just extending our community beyond printed pages into something much larger and allowing our community to grow and be more vibrant. So since there's so much social media, I mean, raise your hand if you're on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? See, they're all on Facebook. Are you tapping into that to get input maybe for future ideas? We really do use Facebook. If you haven't already, please like Family Tree Magazine on Facebook. We have great reasons for you to come and visit. We often will put up, when we shoot covers or get them illustrated, we'll put up a couple different versions on our Facebook page, and then we'll ask people which one they like best. And typically, you know, popular opinion tends to rule the day, and the one that the most fans choose is generally the one that we go with. So people like to give that feedback. And we often do a lot of contests and giveaways. So, you know, if you share a little tidbit or answer a question, we'll give away a prize, a book or magazine, or even some other product from our store. Yeah, you bet. Now, with all the Family Tree Magazine, all the different business aspects you've been having going on, you're actually busy. I get to ask about her personal life now. I understand that you're going to add a vital record to your own personal collection. It's true, I am. I will Tell them what's going to happen. I will be creating a marriage record in October when I wed my fiance. That is so exciting. Are you all organized? You seem so calm, and it's June. And you're getting married in October, right? I think the panic will probably set in about September, late August. But I am pretty organized with things. Got some big things to check off my list, but really I'm just excited about it and looking forward to all the fun of the planning and trying to minimize the stress. I think at the last conference we were at, we were sitting there talking, and I said, oh, did you get your dress? And you said, yeah, you had your dress. And I said, well, what does it look like? And she started to describe it. I said, oh, that's beautiful. My daughter had that on her dress. And what else? It has these sleeves. Oh, my daughter. And I looked at her, and you pulled out your cell phone.
Yeah.
And there was the dress that my daughter had been married in 2 years.
Great minds think alike.
Great minds, absolutely. It was gorgeous. And we confirmed we got it at the same place. So I said, yeah, I could see that.
Peas in a pod.
How fun. So, so do you get to go on a honeymoon? As much as she has going on, do you get to actually get away and do a honeymoon? Or
I am planning. I'm planning very far ahead. So we're going to have lots of stuff squared away before the wedding, and I'll be taking off probably about 2 to 3 weeks in October to really enjoy that time with my new husband.
How fun. And you got to start your own collection of documents.
Yes, I do.
The marriage record. How great. Well, and finally, I just wanted to ask you about one of the questions I know I hear people asking you a lot, and I'm imagining people might have questions here, is where do you get, you talked about that you sometimes go online to message boards and things and put out a question, but we see a lot of terrific names in the magazine. How do people get ideas to you? How do you come up with all these ideas? Sometimes I read these articles and there's such catchy, adorable, titles and things. Do you guys sit around and just have a think tank of?
We do have a little bit of a think tank. We have a lot of great genealogists and writers that work with us that are, constantly saying, "Hey, have you done this?" or "Here's an idea." And so we kind of keep those all in a pool. And then once a year, and we have a really big brainstorming session where we get together and we say, "Okay, we look at what the most popular articles that we've done." Where we've gotten the most feedback, and also which issues have sold the best. And we kind of say, well, what's a different way that we could talk about the census? Or what's a different way that we could talk about marriage records? And one of our goals is to really make the information entertaining and accessible so that, people are busy. You don't necessarily want to have to sit and read through 2,500 words of text without something to kind of break it up and make it more interesting and friendly. So we're really put a lot of emphasis on tip boxes and graphics and maps and things like that. And so,
I know. I was thrilled. That she said, "Yes, come write an article about Google Earth for genealogy." If some of you came to the Google Earth class, there's a whole big article in one of the past issues, and I really saw you embracing technology very early on. Do you find that your readers appreciate that? Are they glad to see all these, to the toolkits and how to do all the technical stuff?
Absolutely. One of the things that we really try to do is, no matter what kind of research you feel comfortable with, we're going to explain to you how to do it online, how to do it offline. If you need to get your hands on a source, or if you want to try a different technique, we're going to explain it no matter what the platform is. But people really like to have that technology guidance, the tips and the ideas, and just things that they wouldn't have thought to do maybe on their own. And the sharing of ideas is just very, very useful.
All that technology is really giving us new ways to look at our research. It's kind of exciting. Well, we have another new way to kind of look at family history, but I need 2 volunteers. I saw a hand. Come on up.
Really?
Yeah. Come on up. Tell us, you've got a little something planned for these 2 volunteers.
Oh, yes. Yes, we do.
Because Family Tree Magazine is such an educational magazine, and so we thought that we would do a little education. Come on up and pick a podium, ladies.
Oh, my God. Okay.
I'm going to just step back out of the way. I'm going to hand that over to you.
Oh, so educational.
We're just going to see how much you've been learning this weekend and learning from the magazine. Shall we? Take it away, Allison Stacy. So just press that button to advance.
Okay. All right, so today we are going to play a little game. It's called What is Your Genealogy OQ? That is your organizational quotient.
Oh, dear.
So, you look organized?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, tell us your name.
Oh, I'm Cherie Finley, and I'm Kim Von Aspirin Parker.
Okay, Cherie and Kim.
Okay, welcome to you both. How this is going to work is we're going to do 10 questions plus 1 bonus question. It's multiple choice. The answers have been are the ones that I like the best. So, as you wish. However, However, the correct answers are the ones that I have chosen as being correct. And we will, you have in front of you some cards. This is multiple choice, so you choose the answer that you feel fits you best in your organizational style. And you're going to hold that up. Lisa's going to keep score for us. Yep. And the person who has the highest score at the end is going to win a prize. Behind you.
God.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Do you have a pen? Yeah, the prize is a CD called Organize Your Genealogy Life. So if you find that you do not score very high, this CD will help you. Okay, which of the following people are your ancestors? Your mother, your great-great-grandpa, your great-aunt, your mother and your great-great-grandpa, or your great-great-grandpa and your great-aunt. Hold up the answer that you think is correct.
Letter, yes. Oh, yeah, that makes it tough.
Yeah, it does.
Pull the tree back.
So A is your mother, B is your great-great-grandpa, C is your great-aunt, D is mother and great-great-grandpa, and E is great-great-grandpa and great-aunt.
F. All of the above, yeah. That wasn't one of my choices.
The answer is D. Your mother and your great-great-grandpa. So the reason that your great-aunt is not your ancestor is because your ancestors are everyone who's in your direct line. Your great-aunt is a collateral relative.
One for Kim.
All right, let's move on to question number 2. Your collateral relatives include a sixth cousin twice removed. That's A. B, your grandmother. C, the brother who owes you $200. D is stepfather. E would be the sixth cousin, the brother, and the stepfather. And F is the sixth cousin, the grandmother, and the stepfather. Answers up.
Oh, A.
Okay. The correct answer is your sixth cousin, your brother, and your stepfather, which is...
It was F.
E.
Miss Kim.
Yes.
I've been studying.
Ooh. Excellent work.
Somebody was not snoozing during classes this week. Okay.
So we mentioned the ancestors in the last question being the people in your direct line. The collateral relatives are the ones who aren't in your direct line, and so that grandmother, she is in your direct line and therefore would not be a collateral relative. Okay, now we're going to get into some organizing stuff. Which of these is not an actual genealogical numbering system? Does everyone know what a numbering system is in your reports? Okay. A, Onontoffel. B, Henry. C, Matilda. D, Modified Register. E, Cash Register. F, Henry and Cash Register. And G is Matilda and Cash Register.
I got that one.
I'm so good. I'm so glad I'm keeping score.
The correct answer is G.
Yay!
Matilda and Cash Register are not actual genealogical numbering
Did you
systems.
get it?
They both got it right.
All right.
Yes. Henry.
Way to get on the board, Cherie.
Onontoffel, Henry, and modified registers are all different genealogical number systems that you can use in your reports. Okay, so number 4. How often should you back up your genealogical computer files? Twice a day. B, at the summer and winter solstices. C, right before your computer crashes. D, during Family History Month. E, once a month.
E?
Okay, we have 2 E's, and our recommended answer is E, once a month.
Yay!
I personally favor the idea of C, but unfortunately, I have never been able to predict when that is going to happen. You tend to get burned that way.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to question number 5. What is the best place to store your family history memorabilia? On the dining room table. Okay, I want a true confession here. How many people put their family history memorabilia here? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. B, the trunk of your car. Anyone going to fess up here? Thank you for being honest.
Does she get a point for that?
No.
Okay.
I get extra points for being honest.
C, in your bedroom closet. D, with the heirloom polyester leisure suits in your garage. Or E, buried in the backyard, where six-fingered cousin Mabel will not find them. Sticky fingered. Sorry. Okay, so again, on the dining room table, trunk of your car, bedroom closet, with the leisure suits, or in your backyard. Where would be the best place to store your family history memorabilia?
Those are great.
The correct answer is C. Because although you may not have a lot of room in there for your clothes, in terms of archivally safe storage methods, somewhere that's out of the basement or the attic in your closet where there's not a lot of temperature fluctuations is the place you want to keep that stuff that you really want to keep safe. So, good job. All right, so you've just downloaded Grandpa Franklin Fluffernutter's 1900 census record from Ancestry.com. How do you name the file on your computer? Would it be A?
Don't look at me.
That paper about Grandpa.doc. B, Franklin Fluffernutter 1900 census.jpg. Keep the name that it had when you downloaded it, image.x.gif. D, Fluffernutter census.jpg. E, B or D. Okay, so technically my favorite answer is E because although B is really the best way to name the file for being thorough and accurate, if you only have one census record at this point, it would be pretty easy for you to retrieve it with Fluffernutter census. So we'll give credit for both answers.
So that was Kim.
Both answers.
Both answers. Oh, okay.
That
Both
was
count.
your favorite answer.
Got it.
Give Sherry an extra point.
Okay. Kim 6 at this point. Sherry 4.
Uh-oh. Okay, here we go.
Bring it on, Cherie. Come on.
Which of the following should you pack in your research travel tote? White cotton gloves. Duplicates of important research papers so you can access them easily. Your protractor. A roll of coins. A recording of Shake Your Bon Bon for motivation. A, B, and D. Or B, C, and D.
Oh. Ooh. Careful.
I can't.
So it's the E is Ricky Martin. F is the cotton gloves, the duplicates of important papers, and the roll of coins. And G is the duplicates, the protractor, and the roll of coins. Okay, the correct answer is F.
F. They got it.
Although I would give bonus points if people wanted to throw in the Ricky Martin on top of that. Yes. All
Yeah,
right.
but they all get up and do that anyway when they do the happy dance when they find something.
Yes, yes, I have seen this. Yep. Okay, question number 8. Which is a safe way to label old photos? A, a ballpoint pen. B, a special photo pencil writing on the back. Invisible ink.
That's what my grandmother always used.
Mine too.
Yeah.
None of the above. You should never, ever, ever write on a photo.
That's all of our choices?
Those are the choices, yeah.
Those are all of the choices.
So we've got...
Yes.
Same.
Our correct answer is B, the special photo pencil on the back. So it's actually okay to, if you're using the right materials, to label. I mean, labeling is very helpful to the people who will be coming into this genealogy after you. So that's okay. Just, as long as you're using archivally appropriate materials, it's fine.
You bet.
All right. Number 9, true or false? You should save all of your important family history email messages right in your inbox where you can find them immediately. True or false?
Oh, true or false? I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention.
Do you put them in your inbox? Correct. False. Because
Good answers.
how are you ever going to find anything when you have 5,000 messages in your inbox?
And if you took my Google search class, I expect that you would never be doing that, correct? Because we talked about all those search features can be done in the Gmail search box, which means file them away because you can always pull them back out, right?
Yep.
Good. You guys are listening.
Well done. Okay, question number 10. If you don't have a lot of storage space, what should you do? Should you A, copy all of your documents at 50% so that they'll take up less room? B, should you digitize all your papers, then just throw the rest of them away? Should you C, file documents in a portable box you can tuck away? Should you donate your spouse's wardrobe in order to free up space?
Why are they laughing? I did that.
D. I have to go with D.
I believe you would. I believe you would.
I have to go with D too.
Okay, this is one of those questions where there's not really a totally correct answer.
It depends how desperate you are.
It depends on how desperate you are. Probably C is the optimal answer, but I am totally giving points for D. Because
They are devoted genealogists, I think.
that's right.
Okay, there's a bonus question, so
Okay,
Shirley, come on.
Yeah, bonus question. Where is the best place to keep your copies of Family Tree magazine? This is super important. Next to the John.
Oh, see, thank you. Randy just raised his hand, so keep going.
That is option A. Option B, on your nightstand.
Don't give away the
It's
answers.
perfect bedtime reading. Not that any of our articles would ever put anyone to sleep. C, in a magazine holder. D, by your computer. And I think that's all of it. Yep, that's
all.
it. So,
They got it?
Same again. So, no, not yet. I wanted to review them again.
But I almost think, and isn't this a good plug-in? Truly, the best place is in your computer because you guys now digitize them all, stick them on
that
CD.
is true. That is
shelf
true.
space.
Can save shelf space. So this is actually a bonus trick question because it really depends on where they are most useful to you. So if it's by your computer, then that's great. And if you really like to have them next to the toilet, that's fine too. As long as you're reading it, that's all I care.
Well,
it
was a close race, but we have Cherie at 9 correct. Kim, full sweep, 11 correct.
Well, congratulations, Kim, but I have some good news. For being such good sports, both of you are going to win our Organize Your Genealogy Life CD.
Yay.
Congratulations. Good job. You're very welcome. Thank you guys for playing.
Next time a buzzer, huh?
Thank you so much. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I will say thank you for now, but don't go too far because I'm bringing you back.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So give a round of applause for Allison Stacy. How much fun. I am so glad I wasn't the one having to answer. All right, well, let's move right along because I've got Paula Sassi here. I told you she's a certified master graphologist. She's achieved the highest level of certification in the art and science of graphology and holds a BA in psychology and adult education. And back in 1980, she established her private practice, which is called Handwriting Consultants International. And she helps companies with personnel selection, behavioral profiling, and compatibility analysis. She's been all over. She's a published author. She's been featured on television, radio. Her work has been highlighted in Fox News Live and on the show Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I imagine handwriting analysis probably came in handy for that. And she's actually done some analysis of some very famous people, Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson, Donald Trump. And in fact, we were just looking at Casey Anthony's signature at our booth during some slow time. Very interesting to get her input on that. Would you please help me welcome Paula Sassi?
Thank you.
Great to have you here in person.
Yeah.
Come on, take a seat.
Hi.
So, okay, I try to do my best, but tell us all in layman's terms exactly what you're doing as a graphologist.
Well, handwriting is a form of self-expression. So just like you can judge people how they walk, talk, shake hands, you can also correlate the strokes in handwriting to personality. And that's what a graphologist does. I do it mainly for personnel selection, but I've also helped in potential murder cases, in compatibilities, new boyfriends, old husbands, all that fun stuff.
It's amazing how many, actually, the more you think about it, how many areas that could be applicable to.
Anywhere you're dealing with people. It is
you were making me nervous because I was at my booth and people were coming up and buying my book and they're like, oh, would you sign it? And I did, and I kept turning away so she couldn't see my signature. I was like, I don't think I want to know. But I have had you take a look at some of my ancestors' signatures. And I have up on the screen, you have a gorgeous website now, which I know you were revamping last year. So tell us the address and a little bit more about what you offer there on the website.
Okay, it's handwritingconsultants.com. And it just highlights everything that we do. The personnel selection, behavioral profiles. That's where we can kind of do a psychological profile of a person. Also do a lot of parties, guest lectures, special events. I even have a very special topic just for genealogists called What Was Great Grandpa Really Like? And I presented that at several genealogy societies throughout Southern California.
Yeah, well, when we announced that Paula would be at our booth and doing some consultations on Facebook, oh boy, a couple people were right up there on Friday and saying, sign me up, because it really is fascinating. And there are people oftentimes that we just obviously have never met in person.
Exactly.
But it was interesting for me to start with somebody I did know. How long does it take to learn how to interpret the handwriting?
Forever.
Yeah? Are you actually learning?
I studied for 2 years before I got certified through a national organization. And, it's like in any field that you're in, you're constantly learning more. And so I had like 5 years of going to conferences and studying. And, and by 1980, I started my practice. And I've been at it now for 31 years, and it is my full-time business. And it just branches off. I've been on cruise ships. I lecture on cruise ships. I do special parties, conventions. I've met famous people face to face. So it's really taken me all over the world.
So do people typically, when they meet you, are they really excited to have you look at their own?
No.
Or are they grabbing their spouses and saying, take a look?
Actually, probably even like in your fields, you get that same sentence, oh, I don't want you to look at my handwriting. It's terrible. All right. And it's not a matter of penmanship. It's a matter of self-expression. So sometimes that very fast, what you don't think is the greatest handwriting, is really very complimentary for what your reality is. So it depends, what your relationship with other people are, what your occupation is, and so that's what we really look at. I'm not looking at if you're going to get the penmanship award. And in fact, if you do write so much like they taught you in school, that's pretty conventional. You do what you're told, you're not a leader, you follow the rules. So we want to see, that's our base measure, is the copybook that you were taught in school and how much the writing changes from that. So we can do that for handwritings from all over the world, because we know what the base measure is. I have a whole book on all the copybooks of the world. And then how they change shows how the personality has developed.
I imagine then you really have to study the history of handwriting, how handwriting was taught through the years, and be able to compare. It probably depends when that document came from.
Yeah, I have another talk called Handwriting in History. Hey! And that's exactly what it's based on. And I have, because of this is how I got the genealogy connection, is I have all these old documents that I have collected from antique stores and just found at yard sales and everything. And I kind of look at all the different people through the ages. One of my favorite things is the mayor's docket from the city of Waco, Texas, 1893. All handwritten. And you saw who was arrested, and they had two different court clerks, and so the writings changed with them, even though their writing was very nice. That's why they're the court clerks.
So you know that about them, and you can still see some of the deviations.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I have letters from the Civil War.
Oh,
actual letters, and not only from the content but the writing. You get the whole feel of the person. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the tree, like this name of that date, this name. We can really see to the soul of the ancestors.
Well, we thought it would be really interesting to invite Allison, come on back up, and have a real life example that you could take a look at and give us some idea of how this works and what you might be looking for in the documents of your own ancestors.
Yes.
Now, I think I have this here. Did you get your copy?
Yeah, I have my copy, yeah. We can have Allison follow along, because I might have to ask her about something.
So first, tell us who the lovely family is in the photograph.
Okay, that lovely family in the photograph is my great-great-grandparents and one of their children. I'm not actually sure which one. I don't think it's my grandmother. I think it's one of her older brothers. And the woman is Amelia Essel, and she is the subject of our handwriting sample here.
Great. Okay, so it's up on the screen. Paula, tell us, what are you looking for when you look at a document like this?
Well, the first thing I do, especially in the older documents, is get an idea of the form level. What we mean by form level is how nice does the writing look. We also call it the harmony or disharmony of the writing. And in this one, it's a pretty high form level. You see it's very well organized. It has a nice straight baseline. There's not a lot of differentiation of the letters. She makes each letter the same each time. So this gives us an impression that she had an above average intelligence. It's all well connected, so she's very logical. It's small in the middle zone, that means those little letters, so she has good concentration, and it flows across the page, so she has fluidity of thought, and a very straight left margin shows she's very systematic. The way she does things in a very good step-by-step fashion. She would have made a good genealogist.
Yes, she would have. In fact, she did some genealogy.
Oh, okay, great,
Great.
And then we look at in the middle zone, the A's and O's. How well did she communicate? Hers are nice and clear, so we know that she was very discreet. But the P's have a tall extension at the top, so this shows she could be a little opinionated as well.
Oh, she's smiling. She's looking going
She's very opinionated.
Now, tell us again, what year was this done?
This was 1960, which made me a little upset because I was alive in 1960. I mean, that's not an antique.
Well, but it was very late in her life.
Well,
it
it's
was very late in her
because
life.
sometimes to reach back that far, you get them at the end of their life. Does it make much of a difference? Does our handwriting change very much as we grow older?
Well, it depends what happens to you.
Yeah.
Your mental, emotional, physical state affects everything you do, including your handwriting. So she's looking pretty hardy at this age, still, very well. And we can tell health in handwriting. And we also can tell alcohol and drug abuse.
Oh,
for all of you that have some, those criminals.
Is that some
in
of the
your
things that, like, the companies look for when they're looking for personnel?
Definitely. I've had to say that. I say they may be prone to overindulging. But we have to say it very diplomatically.
Okay.
Now, the really interesting thing about this, it's up there in color. She puts a lot of things in red on here.
Yes.
And she's editing her own writing. And you told me she did that pretty regularly. I thought that was amazing. So I wondered, was she an editor or a teacher or something? But she also has that very straight baseline. So she's very controlled, but also we say it hugs the line. It shows a need for security. Mm-hmm. So I had to break this to you, but I think your grandmother was a little obsessive compulsive.
That would probably explain a lot about me.
Because everything had to be so perfect. To send a letter and then go back and edit it before you send it.
Yeah.
And even in sort of editor style, the way she used it. So I thought that was very interesting. Also, in that second paragraph, where she writes San Francisco, but as two famous comedians in San Francisco, and she puts little legs on the S, little extra elaborations. It tends to look a little like a dollar sign. And that kind of gives me another input that there's that need for security again. Maybe she was very frugal, watched the money, and so it was concerned to her to have everything, kind of secure and well-based. A lot of lead-in strokes in her words. A lot of her strokes have an extra little stroke coming in. You can see that right in the first sentence, like in the word asked. An A, always A. There's a lead-in stroke, and on the other A, on the H. When you have that, that's a person she's very good at detail because she has a small middle zone, good eye dots, but all that lead-in stroke says she really looks at everything. So maybe it gets bogged down in details sometimes. So the more simplified it gets, the more fluid and simplified the thinking.
Yeah, I did not know my great-grandmother very well. She actually lived to the early 80s. She was 96 when she died. So she had this was late in her life, but she still had a lot of life left. But, all of what I've been told by my grandmother, mainly her daughter, and other relatives, is that she really was very particular, and she was very intelligent, and that she belonged to something called the Theosophical Society, and we just have notebook after notebook after notebook of all of the minutes that she took. So she definitely was in
That's
that kind of, yes, exactly. Your profile fits to a T, I think.
Fantastic.
I just had a case that involved someone that was doing that and hiding in a garage of a relative's home that they didn't know she was there. And it's been a lot of schizophrenics lately in my life.
Wow.
But it was also, I said that she was probably obsessive compulsive in a very bad way.
Oh. Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Allison, for coming up and sharing your ancestors. Wonderful. Thank you. And recently, we did go out on Facebook, on our Facebook fan page. Again, I hope you like Genealogy Gems Podcast on Facebook. And we asked listeners to post some documents if they would like to maybe be selected to have Paula analyze theirs. And I want to welcome our winner, who is Heather Wilkinson Rojo. Come on up.
Yay.
And you've got her document here, right?
Uh-huh.
Welcome to the show, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Hello. Good to have you here. I was so glad. There's our Facebook page. She just went up there and clicked like, and then you selected a document from your family history, and we have it here. Let me get it up on the screen. Oh, this is Heather. Hi, Heather. And tell us about the document that you submitted. I thought it was really interesting. And don't tell us too much, but just the background on, the time frame and the person.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Let me get you a microphone. Oops. Oh, he's got it for us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is a side of the family that I didn't know much about until recently. It's my great grandmother's had two sisters who went to Hawaii, And so I didn't know about, I only knew about the sisters who stayed in Boston.
Okay.
And so this letter is from my first cousin, all those generations removed, to his mother, who was my great-great-grandmother's sister. He had taken a trip back to Boston to visit the family in Boston and was writing back to Aunt Mary in Hawaii. And the letter is 1887. She left Boston in the 1830s and had never gone back to see family or anything. So,
my goodness. So
he's writing back to her. She was elderly at the time, and he's writing back to her about the family in Boston who he had never met. This was the first time he had come back to Boston.
Okay, so this is a bit older. This is 1887. Obviously, you have to think about a different copybook style that they were teaching at that time. What do you notice in there, Paula?
Yeah, well, this is more the Spencerian writing. And you also see it in that third sentence where he's talking about my pleasant trip across. I know this probably drives you all crazy because those S's are made like F's. And you're probably, trained to that now. So, and the sentence right above it where he writes we has the old-fashioned W in it. So, yeah, I think it's more Spencerian-based. It is, again, in form level. It's a high form level, very harmonious writing. So we can infer that he was pretty intelligent, very concentrated and logical, nice fluid thinking. Also analytical because of the smaller writing, and good ingenuity. He has some interesting connective forms. For example, in your writing, sometimes you might see a TH connected. They make the T and then connect the cross of the T to the H, and this is an indication of ingenuity. He made sort of a T and then went into the H, adds to the fluid thinking, ability to solve problems. His M is very interesting, where he's writing my dear mother in the salutation. The first hump of the M is generally self. The second hump is one-to-one relationships, and the third is others. So you can see he puts himself quite above other people. But also that loop also shows that he was very responsible. And so, he's seeing himself in a above others, kind of dignified way. His T-bars also are always made to the right, but yet the writing's nice and controlled. So he had enthusiasm for his ideas. And then the threadedness in the writing, the words get smaller as they go across the page, so that he was very diplomatic. So this guy was good at persuading people. He's very smooth, persuasive, comes across just very dignified. And his capital I, that first I you see right there, the capital I is the personal ego. Also tells you the influence of mother and father. The upper part of the I is mother, the lower part is father, or male or female. But his shows what we call the poetic I. So there's kind of a poetic nature to him. So this guy was a good schmoozer. I mean, really. And I think you said he was kind of, what was the term you used, rogue or?
Yes.
Yes.
I do know that one thing about him.
Yeah, and he married well. And this letter concerns his travels and how he had dinner with the president, Mr. Cleveland, and Mrs. Cleveland. So he got around, and you can see he has that dignified kind of even Washington kind of way. And now our politicians' writings are even worse. They're very, very threaded, so it's extremely evasive. But this guy, he was very good, a very dignified gentleman, persuasive, convincing, comes across well. Highly diplomatic. He's also very flexible. Down in the very last line where he writes begin, the second word begin, you see his G is like a figure 8. And this shows good flexibility in dealing with people. Also adds to his aesthetic appreciation, so there's a good cultured way of going around there. Very independent. And there's some defensiveness too. When he does his D's, I'll take you down to one on the fourth line. to Washington, where we remained. You see, the D is short, so that shows his independence, and then it also comes up and around. So this is what we call a defensive stroke. It's called an arcade. So he is defensive, and he does it a lot on the D's, because the D's are the personal letter, the personal sensitivity. So he's going to guard himself from anybody saying anything nasty about him. But he's just really, really smooth. I'm falling in love with him a little bit.
Well, interestingly,
That's very interesting.
because I happen to know a little bit more about.
I'm a sucker for those kind of guys. Go ahead.
Okay. I only know about him through his wife. He married very well.
Shall we reveal?
Oh, God.
Can you see the picture?
Oh, who is that?
The dignified diplomat.
He was, well, and another thing you mentioned, he is the only surviving son of this family, the only surviving child. He was very much mother's favorite.
Yeah.
He ended up marrying the Queen of Hawaii.
Oh, my God.
And they didn't have any children together, but he did have a child by her lady in waiting. And
And here we go again. Are you sure his name's not Schwarzenegger?
So all the family I have in Hawaii is from the illegitimate relationship.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to know more about him, because all I know is about his famous wife, not really
Interesting.
about him.
Well, they were more free about those sort of things.
This was the Victorian period.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
even though she was queen, she had to look the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how
But that's-
interesting, as Paula was kind of describing, I thought that just sounded so much like the kind of person.
Maybe we should get a job as a lady in waiting.
She was falling in love with him. He must have been that kind of a person.
And what I wrote on the bottom here, smooth operator, charming.
Oh, Heather, thank you so much for sharing your marriage into royalty ancestor, and how interesting, Paula, to learn more about.
Yeah, and I had asked her, it said Archives Hawaii, and I said, why is it Hawaii? And she says, well, that's where I found it. And I'm sitting there going, what? And
We
now
won't
I
tell you
know.
too much.
That was fun.
Heather, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun. I'm glad that you confirmed what, I thought about his personality.
He's hard to resist. Women probably came to him. It's okay.
Wonderful. Give Heather a hand. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather. Thanks so much.
And finally, Paula, you had a little something to give away, because she does these consultations with people, and you were going to give one away to our lucky audience. So what I did before I even came was I wrote down a seat. Who was going to be sitting in this seat. So it was all fair and totally random. And I said that it was the center on the left, third row, closest to the aisle. That's you.
That's you.
So she
didn't know what you wanted.
win a consultation, a handwriting consultation with Paula Sassi. So right after the show, come up and she will give you the information to get in touch with her, okay? Fantastic. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It was fun.
All right. Well, I told you before we finish up that this show has been possible to be and make it available free, and that has been through our wonderful sponsor, which is Roots Magic. And here is the owner, Bruce Busby. Come on up, Bruce. Come join us in our Oprah area. Oh, we'll give you a mic here. You are gray today.
I am gray.
All right. Blue and gray. Did some of you guys wear? Yes, some of you guys wear blue and
There
gray.
don't seem to be too many grays here. Everybody seems to be in blue for some reason. Yeah.
Got a couple.
Us.
Hey, thank you for being here. You know what I did? Now, one of the things that you've been doing recently are all these new online webinars, and I had a blast because I got to be on one too. So I wanted to show people this is the Roots Magic website, how they get to your webinars.
Right. What they do is you just go to our website, rootsmagic.com, click on Learn, and then select Webinars. And that will take you to our Webinars page. You'll see the webinars that we have upcoming. I think there's just one on the schedule now, although there will be, in the next week or so, we'll be putting up, I think, about 6 or 7 more. But as you scroll down, you'll see the ones we've held in the past. And those, we've recorded all of the webinars, and so they're available free to go there and watch. You just click the little watch button, and you can watch it, or you can click download, and you can just download it and onto your computer so that you can watch it without being connected to the internet.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I felt really honored because he asked me to come and do a couple of my classes. But this is an amazing resource for people who have Roots Magic. They're using your software and your genealogy database. So if you have questions, you can really go on there and watch it and hear it from you directly.
Right. Yeah. We get a lot of emails from people, or we have in the past, saying, well, we're having a family history fair with 30 people, and will you be able to come and do a class for us? You know, it's like, well, you know, I mean, it's kind of hard to travel 3,000 miles across the country to do a class for 30 people, you know, unless I happen to be there already. And so we decided to go ahead and do these webinars, because that way we can teach the same classes that we teach at these conferences, but we can do it for 1,000 people at a time online. And so the webinars that we have listed there, some of them are basic ones. There's a getting started, there's how to edit information, but we also have more sophisticated ones on entering sources and citations, creating custom reports. So there's a little bit of something for everything. But we also wanted to start doing a couple that were more just general, and that's why we asked Lisa, because we knew she was an expert in Google and Google Earth, so we asked her to come teach a couple of classes on that. And so we've made those available, and those are up there. Those are free to download and watch as well.
Yeah, so it's a really terrific resource. And I understand that you have brought a goodie bundle for one lucky person in this audience.
Yeah, we decided to give away one of our, you seen our Roots Magic bags? We're going to give away one of those.
Lucky you, a bag.
Actually, not that.
What's in there?
Cool, the cool Roots Magic bags, okay?
Yes.
And a lot of you probably already have these because we donated a bunch for everybody who attended last year. But it's not just that. The goodie bag actually has a copy of Roots Magic, Personal Historian, Family Atlas, Family Reunion Organizer. It has the book for Roots Magic, and it has something that's new that we've just, actually this is the first time we've had them available, is those free webinars that we have. They're still up there, they're still free, but we've had people ask if we could put webinars on CDs. And so we've done that, and each one of these CDs has 10 of the webinars on it. So there's 20 webinars here. We don't do the one webinar per CD thing. We try to cram as many as we can on there. So we've discovered you can fit about 10 webinars. So one of them I think has 11 hours worth of webinars, and one has 13 hours worth of webinars. So
that was a goodie bag. Here, they thought you were just giving away or leftover from last year.
Nope.
Okay, so I wrote down in the center, second row from the back on the aisle. That's you. Awesome. Congratulations.
Okay.
And thank you, Bruce Busby. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. All right, well, we're going to wrap up here. This has been an awful lot of fun. It's been so much fun to have you here in person and our guests here to talk with. But I had to share a couple things because I brought a couple of goodies as well to give away. The first thing is the book, which is my new book, The Genealogist Google Toolbox, which we've had out in the exhibit hall. And this one goes to, and let me switch my thing here. Well, there we are. Okay. Book. On the right, front row, third seat from the aisle. Who's closest? First person to jump in that seat gets the book. Oh my gosh, here it comes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Enjoy. What a funny, oh my gosh. That's Steve Danko. You've got to read Steve Danko's blog. Fabulous, fabulous. All right. Oh, DVDs. I have DVDs because I hope many of you came to Google Earth, right, for genealogy. And so we have, folks, we sold out of these. I had to grab them out of, no, I didn't grab them out of people's hands, but I did grab the last two and I stuck them behind the table because we sold out here. But we are still offering the package if you're interested. And we will, you can have the book here and we will ship the DVDs for free. So feel free. We will be in the exhibit hall till we close, and you can still do that. But here's Volume 1, Volume 2. So it shows you how to do all the mapping, the records, and then do that amazing family history tour. And the DVDs I have here on the left, front row, third seat from the aisle. Yeah, I'd say you're closest. So you're the winner. Come on up. Tell us your name.
My name is Linda Hennis, and I need lots of help.
Oh, fabulous. Happy to help. Thank you. Enjoy. Oh, a lucky first timer at the conference? Fabulous. Okay. And, well, there's Google Earth. And one of the things that we do is I have my premium membership, which is part of genealogygems.com. Of course, the podcast is free, but I always tell people, if you like it, you're going to really enjoy the premium site. Oh, good, she's shaking her head, yes. And we do talk about Google Earth. This is the family history tour we do and the DVDs. You can watch some of those online. Also, we have a whole Google series on there. We're going to give away a 1-year membership. And I put here the center right second row seat on the aisle. That's you. Come on up. Congratulations. Tell us your name.
My name's Jackie Marsh.
Have you had a good time here at Jamboree?
Yes, I have.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to give you this card. You come to our booth, and we'll get you all ready to go. You signed up for your 1-year membership. Oh, fabulous. Then you will have a 2nd year tacked on, okay? We'll do that. Fabulous. Okay, that's all I got, folks, and I want to thank you so much for coming. I know it probably cut into your lunch schedule, but I had a wonderful time. I hope you did too. Thank you.